On April 18th, 2026, I'm going to be hosting my third official live workshop, The Architecture of Dread, a creature design masterclass. Creature design is a subject that I am so passionate about that I dedicated my artistic career towards it. Breaking down the psychology of what makes things creepy or interesting or cool, the uncanny valley, looking at different directors and artists and filmmakers and how they approach creepy stuff, all the way down to my entire Photoshop painting workflow on how I construct a creature from beginning to end. And I want to share all of that awesomeness with you. Check the pinned comment below and you'll get a direct link where you can get in touch with me and I'll share all the details with you. Sound good? Now, let's enjoy today's art talk. I can confess with absolute conviction that there isn't a single week in my entire existence where I haven't had the thought, I'm not good enough. I'm not good enough at school. I'm not good enough at my career. I'm not a good enough YouTuber. I'm not a good enough artist. I just suck at being a human. Full stop. And what brings me comfort, what brings me solace, what brings me joy and keeps me going is the knowledge that you feel exactly the same way. I don't think I've taught a single student. I've ever worked with a single colleague professionally, no matter what position I had, no matter what studio I worked at, where if you got to know somebody well enough and you had a candid, open, honest conversation with them, that they didn't confess at some point or another that they didn't feel like they were good enough. And thankfully, I think one of the great blessings I have in my career as an artist and as an art teacher is the fact that I get to have these conversations with artists all the time. And I hear it in so many different ways. I'm not fast enough. I'm not good enough. My anatomy's not good enough. I know I need to work on my values. I know I really, really suck at colors. Yada, 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 yada. It's extremely common. And I think before I offer any kind of advice, I think right there and then is something that we need to acknowledge as artists. And that's the fact that it's common. It's universal. We all feel that way. So even the art gods that you follow on Instagram or YouTube or on ArtStation, all of the people that you think have it made, that have that career you've always wanted, they got it younger, they got it better, they have more skill, they're this and that. There's no real human being on the planet who has any sense of ambition and a desire for growth that doesn't have that feeling all the time. We all do. And that hopefully should help to relieve some of the pain. If I was to use a tattoo analogy, when you're getting a tattoo done, it hurts. It stings. It sucks. It's like, right? Hopefully you have a tattoo artist who puts some kind of a lotion or something like that helps to ease the pain and numb it a little bit. But it's going to sting. But in the end of it, you have something beautiful to show for it. That pain brings something beautiful and it's worth it. And that pain that you feel every day, that little irritating rub that you have every day from not being able to accomplish something to the degree that you wish you did, is the price that every artist must pay to get great. And as long as you acknowledge that, you can accept it. I can accept the pain of getting a tattoo because I know that I have something beautiful to show for it at the end of it. I think the other thing to acknowledge too, right out of the gate, is that feeling of not being good enough, of not being competent enough, of being hyper aware of everything you don't have is not a sign of failure. That's not failing. In fact, it's my very strong opinion that there's only one true type of failure: quitting, giving up, throwing in the towel and saying, I'm not going to do this anymore. Now, does throwing in the towel make you a bad person? No, some people just realize it's not worth it. Art's just not worth it. I want to do something else in my life. I want to trade stocks. I want to be an engineer, whatever. That's their own choice. That's their own journey. But know that as long as you desire to be an artist and as long as you keep trying, that pain of doubt is not a sign that you've screwed up, that you failed. It's just a sign that you have high standards. It's a sign that you are somebody who's forward thinking and aims for growth. Acknowledging that over time helps you to develop the resilience you need as an artist and as an individual to be able to just come to terms with it. It's gonna hurt. but that's just the way it is. And if anything's changed between my 20s, 30s, 40s, and 50s, it's the fact that I'm just so much more used to it. It hasn't gone away. Here's a really good analogy for that. Stage performers. People who, get up in front of tens of thousands of people. Think of Billie Eilish. Think of Selena Gomez. Think of some big performer who's used to being in front of huge stages. If you actually test the heart rate between them and somebody who's never been on stage before and is demonstrably terrified in front of an audience because they're not used to being stared at by tens of thousands of people, if you measure their heart rate, it's the same. You'd think that Selena Gomez, who's done stage performances a million times, her heart rate's at a base, like it's at 50 the whole time. No, her heart rate goes up just as much as a complete amateur. It's just that she's gotten so much more used to it. Her body has acclimatized itself to that high heart rate, so she doesn't feel it anymore. The same way you won't after feeling doubt for many, many years, so long as you don't give up. I would also say that one of the most common feelings that my students express to me is the fact that they feel like they should work faster. And it's really interesting too, because when I first started my mentorship, I started back in 2015, so we're going back 11 years now. I, in one of the weeks, did a non-time-lapsed painting video that lasted many, many videos for the sole purpose of demonstrating to my students what a true, realistic, slow-paced drawing timeline actually looks and feels like. Because back in the time when I recorded those videos, speed painting was popular. People weren't used to watching time-lapsed videos of paintings at that time, and that really, really screwed up the speed that people thought they should work at. So I made these videos, some of them where my little son Lucas was in diapers at 3 o'clock in the morning because he couldn't sleep. So I'm there in the dark like this with drooling Lucas on my lap while I'm sitting there drawing and recording videos. He's now 6'1". He's almost as tall as his dad now. So time has passed. But just sitting there and slowly but surely working on a painting one brush stroke at a time. Fast forward to 2026 at the time of this recording, and I still hear students complaining that they're too slow. To which I always ask the question, compared to who? I have never encountered a single person in my entire life who said, that's a real masterpiece, Adam, but can you try to do that in half the time next time? No. It's a silly thing to think. And the fact that artists are so hung up about speed and efficiency is counterproductive to getting good at art. Remember that art, much like chess, is something that demands a lot of the brain. There's an opening, there's a mid-game, and there's an end game. The opening is where you're trying to establish what the foundation of this drawing is. It's the launching pad of the entire drawing. It's where you want to really make sure to put all that heavy thought into making sure that you start something well and create a nice momentum moving forward. The mid-game is where do you take that initial rough sketch into something that feels solid that you can start to render in detail, right? And that's very often a bit of a sticking point for a lot of artists. And then the end game is where you put those last little finishing bits of polish on it to really make it feel professional. Every single one of these stages requires a lot of foreplanning, a lot of visualization, and then a lot of technical planning to be able to execute the final product, and then a lot of patience at the end to put in those final details. The entire process that can last anywhere from an hour to weeks, or sometimes months or years, depending on the type of art you're doing, requires constant focus and concentration. And at any point, to go back to the chess analogy, you get sloppy and you're not paying attention to what you're doing, you're going to end up, as the expression goes, hanging your queen. Meaning you're going to end up sacrificing your queen because you weren't paying attention that I just put it in line with a bishop. Now I'm screwed. Okay? Art requires a lot of focus and a lot of concentration. Come to terms with that. And when you do that, you realize that one of the things that might be holding you back from your greatest masterpiece is not talent. It's patience. To segue off of that, and it's something I've mentioned in my past art talks as well, is remember who you're comparing yourself to as well. If you're comparing yourself, for instance, to somebody on Instagram, what's wrong about social media platforms for artists is that you might be comparing your artwork at 2 years of experience to somebody's 15 years of experience. They've been doing this half of their bloody life. They've been through a lot of the things that you haven't been through yet. They've worked their way through a lot of these challenges as an artist, and they've just improved because they've just had more time to improve. But then you put your artwork on the same platform as they do, and you're comparing 1 year to 15 years. That's not a fair comparison. So what I always recommend is, and a lot of artists, a lot of teachers online have this, is to join private servers like Discord servers from different schools and stuff like that, so that you're amongst your peers that are roughly around the same skill level as you, so you can give each other a good push, but you can see that you're all at that same learning phase artistically and technically, that you can grow together and you don't feel like you're trying to keep up with people who have way too much of a head start on you. It's just not fair. Another really common one is, I should be better by now. And I might be talking to somebody in their 20s or 30s or even 40s. And let me just go out and say right off the bat, number one, when you're younger, you lack life experience. When you're older, you're just getting a later head start. One way or another, you have an advantage and a disadvantage. I don't give a crap what age you are. The older you get, the more life experience you can put towards your work. And I very often find that when somebody dedicates themselves to an artistic skill, let's say if I wanted to get into acting at 50, I have an entire life's worth of experience with children and relationships and life challenges and stuff like that. All of that depth of experience that I can inject into acting, even though I've never acted before in my life. Whereas somebody who might have started back when they were in their 20s might have gained a lot of artistic skill performing and working for the camera and how to present themselves well and how to use their body better. They have all of that physical technical experience that I don't have at my age, but they lack life experience. So no matter what age you're coming in at, it's never too late. I'm not just trying to give you a pat on the back and saying, oh, no, you're going to be fine. Don't worry about it. Just keep going. I'm saying this through life experience. I don't give a crap if you're 65 years old. It's never too late to learn art. Obliterate that notion altogether. It is a complete falsehood and it's stupid and it's only holding you back. Here's another one I'm going to put out very, very bluntly. Comparing yourself to others is an amateur mistake. I don't know a whole lot of seasoned professionals, experienced professionals who've been doing this for many years that make the mistake of comparing themselves to others. What they instead do is compare themselves, to their past work. I've learned through years of experience and struggles and self-doubts and all that kind of stuff that the times I've been the most derailed from being artistically productive, the times in my life where I felt like where I lost my footing and I didn't know where I was going, is when I compared myself to another artist and then looked back at everything that I had accomplished and thought it wasn't anything. You have my word. You are making an amateur mistake. If you look at somebody else's work online that has a style that's completely different than your own, and you sigh with envy and you go, oh man, I wish I could do that. And then you abandon everything that you've done, everything that you are, and you try to copy what they do. You try to draw mangas the way they do. You try to draw creatures the way they do, without taking any consideration into the type of artist that you truly are at your core. And that, to me, very often is not a symptom of lack of skill. It's a symptom of lack of confidence in self. It's that you don't think that your own imagination, you don't think that your own desires, you don't think that your own tastes are good enough, and that you need to have the tastes and you need to have the style and skill of that other artist. And go ahead and keep feeling that way. But you have my word. If you continue to grow as an artist over the years, you're going to come to recognize that habit as being one of the most damaging things that an artist can have. Every single time I ever looked at another artist and said, wow, I wish I could be like them, and I tried to do their thing and I abandoned what I did, it was the worst toxicity to my own productivity. It completely derailed me, if not for days, for weeks or months. It knocked off my momentum. Sometimes it kept me from wanting to draw for long stretches of times. And I had to get myself back on my feet again to inevitably do it all over again a couple of weeks later, get a little bit of momentum going, look at somebody's art that I really, really love, try to copy them, and fall flat on my ass again. make a very strong distinction between artists that are the same style as you, but perhaps have certain abilities, certain techniques, certain facets of their work that they do better than you, that you can use as a tool to help you grow. So it's very important to recognize artistic styles that are very similar to your own, or just get lost in your little bubble and enjoy. Do not go outside of your creative bubble. Don't go outside of what you truly desire as an artist. Look at what other people do and say, I need to be doing that instead. You have my word. 99% of the time, all that's going to do is slow you down and derail you and make you lose confidence as an artist. I want to close on this, and that's the fact that you are not behind. You're in the middle of your journey, and you're going to continue to be in the middle of your journey even on your deathbed. When you've got one breath left, you're never going to be at the end of your journey. You're always going to be in the middle of it. The only thing that you can ever do that can truly, truly cause you to fail as an artist is to give up, to compare yourself too much to other people, to come to the conclusion that you're never going to be good enough and you just leave, or come to the conclusion that there's some new technology, some new trends, some new evolution, some new tool that is going to destroy all of us artists, like 3D did in the past, or like AI threatens to do today. If you allow yourself to give in to those doubts and you truly quit, then you've failed. But everything else is just a part of the journey. So get used to it. All right? Cool. And with that said, I love you all with all my heart, and happy painting. Take care.